Welcome to The Woman in the Work. I'm your host, Holly Lambrecht, and I'm really glad you're here. This podcast is about the relationship between the woman we're becoming and the work we're building in the world. Because behind every business, every dream, and every big decision, there's quieter work happening within us too. And here, we talk about both. For 4 years, every single Sunday, my daughter was 2 years old the last time I had a Sunday that was just mine. That's how long I worked every Sunday. That's how long I told myself it was just what you do when you're building something. And then one day, I stopped. And what happened next surprised me because it actually wasn't relief. It was a whole lot of guilt. I quit my part-time job in April. And that might sound like a simple sentence, but it wasn't a simple task. That job was the thing that I had been doing alongside building my business for years. It was that safety net. It was the thing that I could point to and say, see, I'm responsible. I'm not just betting on myself. And it was also costing me something that I couldn't get back. And that was my Sundays. Every Sunday since my daughter was 2 years old, I worked. She's 6 now. That's 4 years of Sundays that belonged to someone else's schedule instead of my family's. And I told myself that it was temporary. I told myself that it was just what you do when you're in the building phase. And I told myself a lot of different things. And maybe some of that was true. But I think some of it was also just a pattern and a way of operating that I had just stopped questioning. We build our lives around our limitations so completely that we forget the limitations were ever a choice. The first Sunday I had back, it felt really weird. I don't have like a prettier way to say it. It really was just weird. My wife and my daughter had built their Sundays without me. They had a whole routine, a whole rhythm, and they had learned over the 4 years how to do Sundays as a family of 2. And I walked into that. And the first few Sundays, I honestly didn't feel like I deserved them. That's the part that nobody talks about when they tell you the rest, right? They don't tell you that rest can feel like a punishment at first, that your nervous system doesn't automatically know what to do with the space when it's always been wired for urgency, wired to keep going. And I had spent 4 years building an identity around being the woman who worked every Sunday. And when that was gone, part of me didn't know who she was without it. And this is the inner work right here. This is exactly what the podcast is all about. The outer work was simple. I quit the job. I got my Sundays back. But the inner work, that part has taken a little bit longer. There wasn't a single moment when it all changed. I want to tell you there was. That there was a Sunday when I woke up and the guilt was just gone. And I felt this overwhelming presence and wholeness, and like I was fully there. But that's just not what happened. It was this quiet, gradual feeling. We just started to find a rhythm together, all three of us. And now, Sunday mornings look like this. We all get to have breakfast together, the three of us, at the table, with nowhere to be. And that's a boundary I set for my Sundays, unless it's a holiday. We do a family clean in our house, and if my daughter doesn't want to help, she can go and play with her toys. And I just want you to sit with that for a second. My daughter off playing with her toys on a Sunday morning while I'm at home. And for 4 years, that image didn't exist. And now it just is. It's just our Sunday mornings. Then maybe we head to the farmer's market or the grocery store or wherever the day takes us. Being outside, being together. And right now it's summertime, and that means being in the sunshine. And for some people, it sounds small, but it's not small to me. It's everything. About 6 weeks after I got my Sundays back, something else shifted. Figuring out the new schedule, figuring out everything in my life, I started waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Not for work, not to get ahead on things, not to check my email or plan out my week or do all the things I used to tell myself I'd have to do if I just had more time. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning for me. I don't scroll. I don't open anything work related. I do a meditation. I've been working through some of Gabby Bernstein's work lately. I do some journaling. Sometimes I do a hypnotherapy session. And then before I wake up my daughter, before the day asks anything of me, I get myself fully ready. I take care of myself first. And I never understood why one of my great friends, business mentor, human Stephanie Ross, told me to do this, and I finally listened. But taking care of myself first, that's something new for me. The woman who worked every Sunday did not take care of herself first. She took care of everyone else and everything else and hoped that there would be something left at the end of the day. And usually there wasn't. The 5:30 a.m. and the Sundays, they were the same decision. They're both visions of the same thing, that I matter in my own life. I've been thinking about the legacy that I want to leave. What is my daughter going to remember about her childhood? I think that she is going to remember Sunday mornings, farmers markets, and having her mom at the breakfast table. And I think that she's going to grow up knowing, watching me, even if she never hears me say it out loud, that her mom built something real, something that fit in her life, something she didn't have to disappear into. That is the legacy that I'm building. Not the business metrics, the revenue, not even the number of episodes or followers or any of it. The legacy is she is seeing her mom choose herself. And she grew up knowing that that was allowed. If you are in the middle of building something right now, a business, a dream, a family, my friend, yourself, what have you been doing on borrowed time? What have you been telling yourself is temporary, is just the building phase, or is just what you do, when really it's just a pattern you stopped questioning? Because the outer work will always reflect the inner work. And sometimes the most important thing that you can build is space to actually be there for your own life. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, the work you're doing in the world is always connected to the work happening within you. And here, we take care of both the woman and the work. I'll see you in the next one.